the TikTok troublemaker, aka the most hated man in the make money online space, or at least for a lot of people in the make money online space on TikTok, especially for affiliates. I know I was just telling Dom a second ago while we were chatting before we went live, I don't browse TikTok a lot. Every couple months, I open up the TikTok app, and typically when I open it up, I see a couple things. Number one, a bunch of new affiliate faces that I never seen before promoting some new craze. And then because I follow Dom, if I scroll through a couple of videos, I'll see one of his videos talking about that trend and a bunch of people hating on him.
Yeah, I've
So
seen it cycle a couple of times, just a few.
for sure, man. So I'm sure we'll talk, we'll chat more about that during this live. This is I'm pretty excited for it because you guys know how I love polarization and polarity. We talk about it all the time here in this community. And the reason I invited Dom on here is because he is a poster child for it. He's really good at it. And I love the way he deals with the comments and his haters and his critics. So we'll talk all about that after we get into his journey a little bit, because I do want everyone to get the opportunity to get to know who he is if you don't already know him. So before we do any of that, I want to know who's all here with us. So drop a comment below wherever you're watching this. We're streaming it into my Facebook group on YouTube. I think Dom has it streaming to 2 of his platforms. So wherever you're tuning in from, drop a comment below. Let us know where you're watching this video right now, whether you're on the live or the replay. Let me know let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Dom, where are you based?
I'm just outside of Philadelphia in a town called Langhorne, Pennsylvania.
Philly. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, let us know where you're tuning in from. I see we got Virginia, someone from Virginia tuning in through YouTube. Eddie and Lindley, thanks for commenting. I see a couple other people. It says Facebook user. I can't see your name, so let me know your names as well, just in case the platform isn't showing me who's tuning in live with us. I see we got a fellow
Hello,
Torontonian, by
Facebook
the way.
user.
Yes, sir. So I see that we got a fellow Torontonian in the house. Represent the 6. I'm right downtown, across the street from the CN Tower. So whoever's here from Toronto, let me know who it is, because it doesn't show me your name. I see we got Florida, St. Louis, a bunch of places. Again, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, drop a comment, let us know, drop a hashtag cult, and let us know where you're tuning in from. So Dom, I know some of the folks watching with us today will already be familiar with you, because a lot of people in my audience are in the affiliate space. And I know you've made a lot of noise over the past couple of years now since you jumped on TikTok in the affiliate space. Some of it positive with people who love you a lot, and a lot of it negative as well with people who hate your guts. So I'm sure many people are already familiar with you, but for those from my audience who don't already know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and also your background, how you got started in all this online stuff in the first place?
Yeah. So I'll kind of start at kind of the beginning. Did college for 4 years. Came out of college with a degree in economics, concentration in finance, money, and banking. Wanted to do the Wall Street thing out of college, and I actually passed all of the Wall Street exams. Became a licensed financial advisor. About 6 months into it, I just hated it, burned out. And this was in 2010, 11 ish. So it was like height of financial crisis. So I was like, there wasn't really any finance job. So I kind of went insurance, which was kind of finance adjacent, sold insurance for a while, because I was like, got to use my degree. Blew out of that in like 6 months. And then I found a home in the car business, in the retail car business. Cause again, this is like 2011. Nobody was hiring for anything except sales. So I was like, you know what? I got to sell something. And I had always been into cars growing up. So I said, I'll just start selling cars. And people will bring, I think I liked about cars. I think if I had to do sales, it was inside sales. The people were coming to me. So, and there's a very defined process when it was meet and greet, presentation, demonstration, sit down, negotiation, deliver. Like, it was a very cut and dry process that I could follow. Whereas for me, prospecting, insurance was all nebulous, kind of, you go out and you go meet everybody. And it wasn't really as defined. So on there, I kind of learned the sales process there. And then through my time in the car business, I worked my way back into the F&I office, where I learned further negotiation skills and things like that. But then I started working in the internet department at a lot of the dealerships that I worked at. So I was responsible for following up with internet leads and trying to get them in the door and appointments. And I was actually doing about handling 3,000 leads a month by myself. So that's kind of where I learned email follow-up, email automation, because there's no way you can handle that many leads without any kind of automation in place. So I learned how to pre-program my CRM system to follow up and get the appointment, and trigger me when somebody wanted to come in, and so I'd call them. So I learned kind of all that back end stuff before I got online. 2017, I leave the car business because I wanted to start an app-based car rental business. So I found an app. It was similar to Turo. It was actually called Hire Car, where you could rent your car to Uber and Lyft drivers. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It was, it's passive income, right? Well, the car's out, they're paying you and you just collect it. Well, it's not passive because people bang up cars. You have to meet people back and forth. But it was fun. I was working on my own. I got up to a fleet of about 15 cars there. That was my first taste of being an entrepreneur, business owner. During that time, I was also exposed to affiliate marketing. I saw the ad by the YouTube guru with the big house and the fancy car, and you could do all this. And he shows just the bottom of the screen where you could become an affiliate and promote all your favorite brands. And I was like, that sounds cool. So it was kind of a hobby because I didn't really make a whole lot of money. I was not a content creator at all. I was not creating video. I was trying to do like the whole Google SEO thing, but it took a while. And even though I wasn't making money there, I was fascinated, but I had the rental business that was taking all my attention. So it kind of took a back burner. 2019 comes around, like December of 2019. So right before COVID, rental business goes under because of a change in the terms of service. So all of a sudden I was profitable to unprofitable overnight because of an email.
Dang.
Yeah. My insurance costs went up 30%. And then my deductibles went up like 25%. And I'm like, I put a pencil to it and I'm like, I'm not making money now. So it was awful. So I ended up getting out of the rental business. And by January 2020, sitting there, basically not broke, but I had a certain amount of savings. And I'm like, I have no money coming in. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So had to kind of turn into the affiliate marketing because I kind of ran a couple of Google ads here and there and I got some money coming in. I was like, I know it works. I just got to figure it out. And then the whole world got on TikTok during quarantine because I was like, I remember being in a Facebook post and before 2020, like end of 2019, early 2020, we used to make fun of TikTok in all the affiliate marketing groups. It was like, oh, it's only for kids. It's for dancing. And I saw a comment somewhere that somebody had, and they were like, dude, I'm killing it on TikTok. There's so much traffic there. And all you gotta do is make these little 15-second videos. And I was like, I'm not a video creator. I'm not going to do it. And then of course, when you're not making any money and you've got bills to pay, your fear of camera kind of goes away. So I was like, let me hop on TikTok. What's the worst that can happen? And what I liked about TikTok too was that nobody knew me. My friends and family weren't going to see me because no one was on it yet. And I was like, I'll just kind of do my own thing. I don't have to be like, do the whole Facebook organic DM thing. I hated that. And I was like, I might as well just get a sales job if I'm going to do that to sell shit online. Like, that's just not going to work. But I started catching traction on TikTok and finding my voice. And the first couple were absolutely awful. You could hardly hear me. I didn't know what I was saying, but people liked me teaching them about how marketing and sales work because that's what I was trying for the past 10 years in sales. And then it was the past 2 years in trying to figure out affiliate marketing. I understood how it worked. I just couldn't get traffic. Well, TikTok then started giving me traffic. So I kind of became people wanted to learn marketing and sales from me on TikTok and people started following. And then I was kind of one of the OGs starting doing affiliate marketing on TikTok. And I did it through documenting my process. So I wasn't the one hopping on and go, oh, hey, I make $30,000 a day. You too, you can too, click here. That was not my style. I was like, hey, I'm going to sell these ClickBank products. At the time. It was through Facebook ads. And I was like, all right, I'm running these ads and I'm going to, this is what I did. I ran this ad. I got banned today, or I got unbanned today. Hey, I made a sale. And then my comments were like, how the F did you do that? And I was like, well, I actually took a course that told me how to do it. And it's right here. And then I started making sales on the course there. And that's kind of how I started selling, make money on online courses. Sometime around 2021, Mr. Adrian Brambilla slides into my DMs. He goes, hey, I got an idea. Give me a call. And so we team up, we create the Brambilla method, and we launched it in 2021. And in 100 days, I actually earned we hit the 2 Comma Club in 100 days, learning that. That's actually where I first learned polarity. I was pretty vanilla, kind of like, hey, just kind of follow what I'm doing until Adrian was like, we're going to do this. And I was like, are we? And I don't know if anyone around that time remembers the Death of Legendary campaign, which is really like literally everybody was talking about it. And I was one of the higher top legendary affiliates. And all of a sudden it comes out, this is the Death of Legendary. So that was, that's sorted. And that was a wild ride. So then I realized I was like, well, I'm not actually going to get hurt. But then everybody was talking about us. And I was like, holy crap. So I was like, all right, maybe there is something to this. So we launched that. And then March of 2022, I was doing a lot of like SEO and blogging. That was just how I understood search engines because I was getting passive traffic. Like, how are you doing? You're not going live. I was like, well, people go live on TikTok all the time. Let me create something on Google. So when they leave the TikTok live and they go Google it, I pop up. So I was getting a lot of traffic that way. So I launched a course teaching people how to do that. And then at the time, there was a program that was doing $2,000 to $5,000 commissions. They were like, oh, everyone makes $2,000 to $5,000 commissions. So I was like, you're not going to do that over here. But I started kind of making fun of them and taking the anti $2,000 to $5,000 stance there. And again, that more people drew people closer to me. And then the people promoting that program all hated me. And then in end of 2022, we launched my Amazon influencer program because I started doing Amazon influencer through 2022, video content creation. And then I took the anti-high ticket affiliate marketing stance. And that program did 6 figures on launch as well. So it was really just taking the anti whatever the trend was stance. And it gets everybody talking about you. Because for some reason, I don't attack the people, but I attack the model and I poke holes in the model. But people take that so personally and they think that like you're taking their livelihood. So they feel the need to just speak really, really loudly about you to people who don't even know you. And they go, who's that guy? And they come over and they send people on over my way.
For sure, man.
So, yeah.
You know, it's funny. It's funny that you it's funny that you mentioned. Say what?
I said, so there's the story.
Yeah, man. It's funny that you mentioned the part with you know, people getting triggered when you're taking away their livelihood, because I think that's the key there. I watched as you did some of those stuff. I remember those campaigns, you know, with the Brambilla method, the death of legendary, and I know what program you're talking about, the 3-letter program with the 2 to 5K commissions and all that stuff. And it's funny, man, because so one of the things that I talk a lot about with my clients, and I've spoken about it for those inside of my Facebook group here in the past, is the power of taking having an anti-mainstream message, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what you were just mentioning. For each of those campaigns, you had this strong anti-mainstream message. You were a counter option or a counter message to whatever was a big thing at the time, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember I've seen a lot of your videos. Every time I open, in every blue moon I open TikTok, typically you're one of the first videos that show up for me. And I've watched some of these videos where you're criticizing things, and that is what I observed. You're never actually attacking anybody. I haven't seen you mentioning anybody's names. You're just pointing out business models and, you know, sharing the holes. And from all the stuff I saw, very logically and clearly, straightforwardly sharing what the holes are in the business models. But then when you read the comments, people are going crazy. And, you know, it's funny because anytime you have a message, I've noticed this with myself too, is if I do a post about, you know, on Facebook, sometimes I'll drop even a post that's like 3 lines long, but it's attacking something that everybody is preaching as dogma right now. And all of a sudden that post goes viral, even if, you know, if you compare it to all my previous content, that I was posting just value stuff or whatever. When you attack what people are relying on to make money, man, they come out like wolves.
Yeah. But here's the thing though. Most people, like, I mean, I'm never actually going to put anybody out of business. Let's just get that right out of the way. Like, there was no like death of legendary. Like, I didn't actually think that was going to happen. It's like the WWF, right? Like, but again, it just gets people's attention, or I'll be like, oh, this is going to die. Like, it's not going to completely die. But again, people feel that way. They'll feel, you know, and honestly, you're preying on people's insecurities, but you're almost like, as marketers, we want to get an emotional response. And if people feel like you're coming after it and they feel so convicted, they're going to respond. And in the organic world, response is engagement. Engagement sends stuff viral, and that increases reach.
For sure, man. For sure. So I'm curious to hear from you, because you said before you hooked up with Adrian and you guys launched the Brambilla method, before that, your marketing was very vanilla, in your own words. And then after, that's where your eyes opened to Polarity and you started really leveraging it heavy in what you do. What I'm curious to hear is, you know, when you're making that transition, I know for myself, so I would say I didn't start using Polarity in my brand and content very heavily until about 2021, when I shut down, basically took a hammer to my business before and relaunched under the Cult Builders brand. So that was when I decided to go all in on Polarity. And I know for me, there was a lot of growth I had to do in just getting over the fact that, how people are going to respond, the fact that, now you're not playing it safe anymore. So I'm curious to hear about that aspect of the journey for you and how that went.
Yeah. So again, there's pre-Adrian, post-Adrian when this kind of happened. So beforehand, again, I was very vanilla. I was very like, you know what? I was never one to talk bad about other people. Like, let's get that out of the way. I've never attacked anybody personally, right? People's actions, maybe, but never actually the person. So I was always just like, oh, whatever. Like I was the person who was thinking it, but never really said it. But then I was kind of thrown into the deep end because all of a sudden it was Adrian put the first post out there. And then because people knew we were business partners. Like, I'm on the ship now. Like, there's no way I'm on the ride. We're there. I just got to strap in because I'm going to
He
be a good
forced you in
business
it.
partner. Yeah. I'm going to be a good business partner. I'm like, I'm just going to go along with it. Right. I made this decision. I got in, I put the seatbelt on. Like, I'm here for the ride. And I'll tell you what, I was off TikTok for a while. Like, there were stitches on stitches on stitches that people were ripping into me. And I was like, I just turned my phone off. But then, like, it passed. Right after like 2 weeks, I was like, it passed. And I was like, you know what? Nothing happened. There's money in the bank. It's coming in. People are clicking on my shit. Like, okay, if I have to see a couple of mean videos where I'm tagged in, I just don't have to watch the video. Okay. And then from then on, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stop caring because this is more traffic than I've ever seen. And more people are talking about me than ever before, good and bad, but more good because there were people who were talking bad about me, didn't know who I was.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just go check out to see what this guy's about anyway. So it was like the haters were bringing people into my world. And I'm like, well, you know what? I can use them because now I'm not just one person talking about me. There's 300 people talking about me. And it just gave me that much more leverage. So it took a while. There was a lot of growth. And again, being thrown into the deep end, I don't think I was ready for it. You're never actually going to be ready for it, but there's got to be like, yeah, it just happens. But know that like no one's going to, I think I got one threat in my DMs. Like, no one's going to punch you through the phone. It's not going to happen.
What kind of threat did you get?
I think it was like, you're going to effing die. I think it was a death threat.
Hey, man.
And then one guy stitched me. He's like, are you the one wasting everyone's fucking battery? Am I allowed to curse? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, are you the one wasting everybody's fucking battery? If I see you, I'm going to choke you out. And I was like, okay, dude. Like, it was just some guy shirtless in his basement. And I was like, this is okay. Like, what am I going to say?
That's hilarious, man. So feeding off of that, since you have received some threats in your DMs, I know you sometimes go in person to things. When I announced this in my group, this event, Carlos, one of our members, commented with a picture that he took with you in Funnel Hacking Live. So you're going to marketing events where some people who watch you online might see you. I'm just wondering what in-person encounters you've had now at any of these events, if any.
So Carlos, shout out to Carlos, dude. You are the first person who's ever recognized me in public. So I apologize for my, I was really awkward. I was like, you came here to see me? You watch my TikToks? And at first I was like, I got to play some, like, do I know him? But like, and then it never hit me of like, this is someone who could be watching my content and sees me every day. So, and again, video builds that connection. So again, Carlos, I apologize for the awkwardness of our encounter. If I see you again, it won't happen, but it's definitely something that that was new. I haven't had any like physical confrontation because again, there's people who are at these types of events understand that it's copywriting, it's marketing, and then it's not, a lot of it's a show. And if you're right, if I'm, because again, there's no personal attacks. If people are right, and I'm just pointing out holes, people who are experienced at these events, they know that they're holes. So it's not going to be I don't feel any like, oh, I hope I don't run into that person.
For sure, man. For sure. Cool. By the way, before I continue with the questions, I see we got like around 30 people or so live with us right now.
Ooh, really?
So awesome. For everybody who's tuning in, I want you, especially some of you just came in, drop a comment below, #cult in the comments so we know who's all here, whether you're watching this on the replay or live. Also, smash the heart reaction on this video or whatever equivalent reaction there is on the platform. If you're on YouTube, you can hit that like
YouTube,
button
Facebook.
so we get some love in the algorithm. More people can see this. I know a lot of people were excited for the live event, and if they missed us live, they can catch us on the replay. So drop some love for Dom, and to continue with the conversation, man. So I had a question in my head right now as during the last thing you were saying, and now it just slipped out of my mind. I got a little bit of ADHD going
I know
on
we
or
all.
something.
That's why
But
I've got a 4 foot by 6 foot whiteboard behind me. That is my anti-ADHD board.
Nice man, nice man. Actually, I just remembered what it was. So you one of the things you just said, while you're polarizing, you're saying things that are true, and even the people who you're criticizing, they know there are these holes. So I want to drill a little bit more in that point because I believe personally, there is a right way to go about polarization. There's a smart way, intelligent way, and then there is the stupid way to go about polarization. And there are things you have to keep in mind when you're leveraging. We see celebrities, for example, who just want to do something polarizing. They'll do certain publicity stunts that weren't well thought out, and sometimes it can even lead to the end of your career.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear from you and your perspectives. What do you think when you think about polarization and from your experience leveraging it in your brand? What are the big do's and the big don'ts from your perspective?
Okay. I mean, number one, big don't attack a person personally. Don't go after an appearance. Don't go after a past. Like, I know there's some haters of mine who maybe have a darker past. I'll never bring that up. Like, that's not something, like, some people are going to take that low blow. Don't do it. That's a big don't. And I got to put that in capital letters. The do's are definitely, say what everybody's thinking. Like, if you're thinking something while you're watching something you don't agree with, you're not the only one thinking it. I promise you. And if you're the person to stand up and just say what you're thinking, all the people who are also thinking are gonna be like, that's my guy or girl or whoever you are putting that, like, they're gonna be like, that's the person I'm gonna hook my carriage to. That's the person, because they see through the BS that I'm also seeing. And that's gonna be that's probably the biggest do, is just say things that people are thinking, but don't make it. I mean, if everyone's thinking something about somebody else's past or appearance or something, don't go there, but go to, like, do they not see that they're taking, again, my big thing is taking a course, turning around, putting your name on it, and then selling something else, or just taking a course and then turning around and selling that same course without actually implementing anything. I tell people, I'm like, this is basically a pyramid scheme where it's an MLM without the upline and downline. And people don't like to hear that. But at the same time, I'll ask people, I'm like, how much of it, you're selling this course, how much of it did you go through? How much of it did you implement? What do you sell besides this course? And a lot of times, like, they know the answers are, I didn't go through it. I don't do anything else but promote this. And I didn't get a result. I didn't even try. Like, they know that those are the answers to the questions that I'm saying. So they know that I'm in the right, but it's just like, just let me do my own thing. So they just don't like that I'm, like, basically a thorn in their side.
For sure.
So don't,
Sure, man.
just make sure your ducks are in a row when you're about to start saying some shit that you're going to catch hate for. Because I think that's a lot of things too, is when people do try to use polarity, they don't always have their ducks in a row, and you got to make sure that your shit's tight.
100%. 100%. I don't know, by the way, Dom, I don't know if you ever read Ben Settle or if you follow him at all.
I've only heard of him through Russell Brunson's podcast. I know he emails his list every single freaking day.
Yeah, so he actually is big on this whole he has a whole book. It's called Copy Troll, and it's all about using your trolls to your advantage and people hating you online. One of the things that he talks about, I don't know if it was in that book or if I'm thinking from another book, and I might even be confusing it. It might not even be Ben Settle that I'm thinking about. It might be someone else, but I really feel like it's Ben Settle who's talking about this. But one thing that he mentions is, if you're going to use polarization, if you're going to attack certain ideas that people are holding very deep to or close to, you're also opening yourself up for attack, right? If you're a fighter, I'm not a professional fighter, but I have, I used to box with my buddies and stuff like that. And sometimes the best time to get a hit on somebody is when they're trying to hit you, because typically that's when they're opening up that's when you're going to find openings, is when you get in that counter hit, right? So it's the same thing. And I think about this a lot of times, even when I'm using polarization in my own brand, is when you throw a hit to somebody, you are also opening up your own vulnerability. So if that vulnerability is not defended well, as in you can back up what you're talking about, then you're going to screw yourself with it. And
Yes.
I think that's also why a lot of people are afraid to use polarization, because some folks got some skeletons in their closet and things, you know, in their brand that
Yeah.
they know they can't back it up. And it's very, very hard to be able to do the stuff that we're talking about if you don't got the balls to be standing behind your own brand, behind your own track record, behind your own opinions and all that. And you know that somebody can come out of the woodworks and expose you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, again, if there's skeletons in the closet, fine, I get that there. But I would just say in your argument too, if it makes just make there's no holes in your argument.
100%.
I see somebody else here. I see a comment here. It says, "How do I respond to people judging my looks?" That depends on your level of comfortability. Now, obviously, we all have insecurities. I mean, I am a little insecure about the lack of hair up here, but at the same time, I'll get to the point where some people go, "Oh, this bald guy," right? Sometimes I would just respond with sarcasm and just own it. And there's no like mindset hack. You just gotta be like, you know what? If I can talk about it, right? If I can make a joke about it, I take that opportunity away from them.
Yeah.
There was one where it was a TikTok sound where it was Maui from You're Welcome, where he talks about, is it the hair, the bod? I replied to a bald comment, took that sound, and I was like, oh, is it the hair? Like people loved it. And I was like, all right, so that's done. But yeah, sometimes you just have to take that comment and just highlight it. Put your hater's head up on a figurative pole for all to see. And if you do that once or twice, they kind of stop. So like, oh, I can't go there because that doesn't really actually affect him. Even though like you might be like on the inside, you're just like it hurts. Put on that facade for 20 seconds on a post and they'll be like, oh, I can't do that anymore. So
For sure, man. It's kind of like Eminem in 8 Mile, if you watch that movie.
yeah,
When he's in the
yeah,
middle of the battle and then he just gets up there and you know he puts all his stuff on the table and it's like, okay, well, you got nothing to play with now.
yeah. It's the same thing. Just play it. Yeah, just own it. And just you say the worst things about you, and yeah, they can't say it anymore.
So I'm curious to hear, man, because I know obviously you get a lot of comments, and one of the big things you do on your TikTok profile is a lot of your content is you responding to comments and you know playing around with it. Either sometimes you know you might be responding with logic, or sometimes even you're just having fun and just entertaining. I've seen some where you're just you know like you said putting on a viral sound and making fun of the comment that you got. What I'm curious to hear is Dom personally, emotionally, if you still feel anything when you get those hate comments at all.
Some of them sting, not gonna lie. I still have a hard time. It takes me a while to watch a stitch. If I put something out there that's a little controversial and I see that stitch notification, or I see that I got tagged, I'm like, oh, is it good? Is it bad? Because it goes either way. If I watch that first fight and I see somebody cut in, and then I'm like, uh-oh, they're like, go watch that guy. And I'm like, oh, right? Or it's like, oh boy, has no idea what he's talking about. And he's so misinformed. And it's hard to watch because you're all human. We get emotion. I feel emotional all the time. I gotta like, I'll go watch that later. I'll watch it on mute because it's actually easier to watch when you don't hear the person's voice and you're reading the captions. That's kind of my hack to get over some of the hate that I get. But when I stir the comments up, it's good that you say that. With a lot of my content is comment replies. I try to stir the comments up with one post. And then what'll happen is you get the normal hate and whatever. You kind of put them on a poll or whatever. Like it's fine. But what I really want to do is I want to draw the comments of the people that agree with me and then the people who are asking questions. Because if you notice on the ones where I try to stir it up, I leave something out intentionally. I leave a gap there and people go, well, what about? Or what about this? And I'm like, that's my next post. I'll do a quick comment reply and I'll reply to that, fill in the gap, but then leave something else out, hoping to get more comments, and then I'll reply to that. And what I'm trying to do is they call it in YouTube, they call it killing the island. So if somebody comes onto your YouTube channel and they watch only one video of yours, even if you get a high watch time on that video, great. But if you can get someone to watch your video and then hit the end card and watch another video, now your watch time is basically over 100% and your session time is increased more than the video. If you can get someone to do that, that is like your ticket to going viral on YouTube. So the same concept applies on TikTok. So if I can get somebody to watch my comment reply video and they go, what the hell is he talking about? click through the video for context, watch the video that gets them upset, comment again. I comment to them. They come back. They watch my reply to their comment. Now they've watched 3 videos of mine. Well, guess who's going to be showing up on their FYP every other video from that point for the next week? Me. So now my semi-viral kind of like stir it up posts are going to go first. That's going to get them hooked. And then my deeper cut value post that may have gotten 150 views, now they're going to go on this person's FYP because they went profile diving. You want to get people on TikTok. You want to get people profile diving. You want to get people consuming multiple videos of yours, because then you're going to be on that person's FYP nonstop for at least the next 3 to 4 days.
Smart, man.
There is a method to the madness.
For sure. That's intelligent, man. Appreciate you breaking down the thinking behind it for us too, man. So, I'm looking at the time right now. I see we're about half an hour in, so I don't want to hog up all your time with my questions. I want to give an opportunity for the audience and those watching with us right now to drop their questions in. So let's pull the comments up here on the side. Not going to show the comments that already came in, but for all the comments that come in from now, they should show for us on the side. For those of you watching, Dom and I are still able to see your previous comments here in our back office. So what I'd love to invite all of you who are tuning in, especially those of you live right now, drop any questions you have. I'll comb through the comments that are already there to see if we missed any questions. But if you have new questions, drop them below. We'll try to get to as many of them as we can over the next half hour before we wrap up this live. Also, if you are watching this on the replay, feel free to drop, you can still drop questions below too, because, me or Dom will see them wherever we're streaming this out to. We got a couple platforms going. And again, if you haven't already done this, let's show Dom some love. He took time out of his night. He's got a family. He's got people to be with, but he came to hang out with us tonight. So let's give him some love. Hit that heart reaction. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the like button, comment hashtag comment hashtag we love you, Dom. Or if you're one of his haters tuning in, comment hashtag I hate you. Either way, it's cool with us. It's still engagement. All right, so let's see the questions that we got in here.
I see one here. It says, BS, you'd rather see the stitch so that you could respond. You hate when stitches are turned off. I'm going to take that one. So yeah, I hate. So here's a telltale sign of when you know somebody's on some BS is when their stitches are off. It's basically like, I don't want to get a response. I'm just going to put it out there and that's it. So I'll try to be like, I'll be the one who and anyone who doesn't know, a TikTok stitch is basically you take the first 5 seconds or a 5-second clip of a video, and then you can add a response, and it basically links the 2 videos together. But yeah, I hate when stitches are off because it basically means the person's wrong. So then you got to do a screen record, and then you got to tag them. But most people don't tag because they're afraid. Because I see stitches where I'm recorded and I'm not tagged. I'm like, all right. But yeah,
interesting.
I do like seeing the stitches.
They don't want you to get the notification.
Correct. It's 100% what it is. They don't want the person to get the notification, but doesn't mean when I get stitched, it doesn't make it any less hard to watch. You just kind of got to get used to it.
Cool. All right. So I'm still looking through to see if we missed any questions, but there are some there on the side.
Oh yeah. What do we got? I think I know who this person is. What are your thoughts on Stan beacons versus say lead vortex advantages and disadvantages? So I've always been, and I think Zeki, you can kind of agree with me on this, that the confused mind usually always says no. And there's a trend now on, especially socials. You got your, not just TikTok, but Instagram, Facebook Reels. There's always like, go to the link in my bio. And there's a link tree where it's just a page with a bunch of links, and some of them have blurbs. And then Stan, you can actually have payments for that, but there's never an opt-in. And I've been taking the stance that kills conversions. Because one, people are going to go there, see 10 links and go, oh, I don't know what I want. I'm out. You've not collected the lead. You've wasted, especially on the short form platforms. If you go viral or something, like, you're probably never going to see that person again. So I was always been saying, take a proper landing page, like a lead vortex, which is my brand, my software. Someone planted that. I'm sure I'm not allowed to pitch. Am I? I'm not going to pitch. That's fine. But anyway, so they go on there.
I was looking at the comments. I mean, if you got something, feel free to share it, man. I ain't got.
No, I don't care. No, it's fine. But anyway, your lead vortex, your high level, your Kartra, your all your kind of stuff, your basic, your funnel page builders, whatever you're using, that's fine. Have an actual opt-in page with a good lead magnet, collect the lead, and then show your offers on the next page or the page after that. So that's what I say. Because if you're on short form, you're probably not going to see anybody that's there. And yeah, just collect the lead at all costs, because then you can ask them for money
Yeah.
later through email.
Yeah,
Um,
100%, man. I think a big thing in general to remember with TikTok, and Dom, you can correct me if I'm wrong with anything I say because TikTok ain't my main thing, but this is my observation, and I've had
Marketing is
clients
marketing.
that yeah, exactly. And I have clients that go heavy on TikTok, but basically, the thing with TikTok is even when you get followers, a lot of times they're not going to see your content like
No.
crazy all the time unless they interact with it. And I notice the same with YouTube. It's the same thing.
Mhm.
I watch YouTube on my TV quite a bit, and the people who show up repeatedly for me are the folks who I clicked like on their videos, not necessarily the people I clicked subscribe.
Correct. Yes. So I have 140,000 followers on TikTok. My average views right now are like 1,500 to 2,000. So most of my audience is not seeing my content. And that is, again, it's the people who engage with it. Now, if you've gone through different eras on your content, like I'm sure I probably got a lot of my follower count from doing affiliate marketing through Legendary. I probably alienated a lot of them when I took the anti stance. But then there's a new people that come in, and then it just, yeah, follower count I think doesn't matter at all. It literally doesn't matter on TikTok. If the content's good, it's going to get seen by a bunch of people.
Yeah, true. And I mean, people with barely any followers, they post a video, it goes viral, gets like a million views. So it's TikTok, particularly to me, it seems irrelevant.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing about TikTok is it's good for novice creators,
Mm.
people who don't have an audience yet, because TikTok is really good at taking relatively unknown creators and then taking them all the way. They basically build an initial audience, because novice creators will do a lot of stuff for free. They don't
Yeah,
necessarily have to be compensated the way that a mature creator would be like. Because TikTok CPMs, RPMs, whatever you want to call them, for being monetized on your content, it's like a penny or two pennies. The same RPMs on YouTube are like dollars, $7,
yeah,
$10 per thousand views. So what I've happens a lot, and again, I actually had a few people block me for saying this, and affiliate marketers, online moneymaker people, we only get so big on the platform. We get to 100, 125, 130,000 followers. That is as big as you are ever going to get, unless you start branching out into other areas of your life and other interests. You're not going to get bigger than that. And that's why a lot of these people will build their audience on TikTok. And then you want to go to a more mature platform like a YouTube, where you're going to be able to hop in that Google search algorithm, and your YouTube pays mature creators better and they favor mature creators, but it's really, really hard to grow a new channel on YouTube. As I say that as someone who's trying to grow now and I can't get past 3,000 subscribers. But lightning can strike on TikTok and all of a sudden you got 20,000 followers overnight.
yeah, for sure, man. The interesting thing I find too, with short form video, it's kind of nuts when you repurpose it, man. You'll find like I repurpose some of my stuff to YouTube. So far for my shorts on YouTube, the most views I've gotten are like in the 150 views range. But the same content on TikTok, sometimes Facebook, Instagram, it'll just pop off randomly on one of those other platforms.
Yeah, yeah, because it's interest based, and also you don't know it takes a batch of people when it first goes. Like everybody can probably get, no, I don't say everybody, but there's most people can get 200 views on any platform.
Yeah.
Of those 200, how does the content do? If it does good, we'll show it to 1,000. How does it do for 1,000? We'll show it to 2,000. And now that's assuming nobody shares your content, because people start sharing your content, hitting the share button, it goes to another pool of 200. And that person shares, it goes to another pool, another pool. And then from there, that's how things kind of go viral, is going with the share. And you're right. I mean, repurposing it too, everyone's going to vertical video. That's probably the most efficient content, though, that you could make. Where do you repurpose? You say you repurpose TikTok, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, YouTube
Yeah,
Shorts?
so far I've been posting Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Those are the only ones. I haven't been going crazy with it because basically right now, behind the scenes, I'm building out my team. So I actually have a video editor coming on. So now I'll start going crazy with it because I'm in the last stages and about to get things started with them. So
Nice.
so soon you'll see me going all over the place on those short form videos because like you said, the nice thing with short form video, man, it is by far right now for the platforms, at least the most leveraged content, because you can record a video, you can post it across TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. What else? What have I mentioned? YouTube. There's other ones that are probably I don't know. Clapper's there. I don't know how big it is. Other platforms.
Cesspool. I mean, Clapper's there. It's just not great.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about those other platforms, but I know there's bottom line is like one video goes across 5 different platforms,
Yeah.
and you know what I mean. So it's super leveraged content, which is why I'm going heavy into it now.
Are you on repurpose.io?
I'm not using. I do have an account on it. I haven't started posting. I have like a bunch of content I recorded, which is in my like content management platform. I'm just waiting to finish onboarding the video editor, and then he's gonna do all that.
Okay.
I am aware of repurpose.io though.
Okay.
Haven't played a lot with it.
Definitely hop on there because I think it's a fairly simple, easy to use interface, and it lets you back all of your stuff up.
Nice.
So I have it now. You want to pick your one spot where you want to post, right? Like for me, it's TikTok as the first place where I go. But the first automation that I have on repurpose is it goes from TikTok, downloads it, removes the watermark, sticks it in a Google Drive. Because anybody who has been on any kind of short form platform knows that short form accounts get banned, particularly on TikTok. And if they get banned, you lose all the videos. I've got 1,800 videos that if I ever got banned, like they're gone. Except now they're in Google Drive. So you can have it. So I have it at the very least. It's $20 a month to just keep my stuff backed up. But then also you can go from, again, TikTok to IG Reels, TikTok to YouTube Shorts, TikTok to Facebook Reels on a business page. You can't do it to a personal profile. But then you can also go from Instagram Reels to Instagram Stories, from Facebook Reels to Facebook Stories. And like you're just literally posting it 10 places with no extra work.
Nice.
And you build that kind of that content syndication machine. And yeah.
That's cool, man. What platforms are you posting to? I know obviously you're on TikTok and putting short form there.
I'm posting on all of them, but I'm really only showing up in the comments and replying natively TikTok and occasionally Facebook profile. Mm-hmm. So I actually have some automation set up on my Facebook pages and my Instagram so that if someone sends a DM, it replies and says, hey, look, I don't check these DMs. I really don't respond to these comments too much. If you want, head over to this web address into my funnel, send me an email and I'll get back to you. So all those, the platforms that I post in Ghosts become lead generation machines back onto the list.
Gotcha. That's cool, man. Nice setup. Alrighty. So I see we got some more questions that came in. So I'll scroll through this while we were chatting.
Here's a good one. I see. Hey guys, when starting out, do you start out with polarity from the beginning or build credibility? I would build credibility first. So when you start getting polarizing, there's why is this? Who is this guy, and why should I listen? Like there's almost like people do an immediate like size up of you and your resume when you start coming against the grain. It's not just your message; it's also who you are. So if you can have a backlog of content that people know that you know what you're talking about in that particular subject that you're deciding to say the contrarian view, have that there. Now, I'm not saying you need 100,000 followers before you can be polarizing, but have like 5 to 10 or 20 posts where they're like, oh, this guy actually knows what the heck he's talking about.
Yeah. Makes sense, man. For sure. Cool. Let's see if we got any other questions we didn't get to. By the way, for those of you watching, if we did miss your question, because I know before I went back looking for questions, very likely could have missed a couple. So just post your question again. You can post your question again in the comments. If we missed it, we will come back through them. We already answered the one about Stan. Let's see what else we got here. There's so many comments, man. I'm like trying to filter through them and find which ones are questions.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys, by the way. Thanks for all the engagement, everybody.
We love the comments. I see one here. Follower count on TikTok is good for 2 things. Credibility and getting access to certain TikTok features like shop, creativity program, creative ads program. Yes. So that is 100% true. So not that they don't matter. They just don't matter the way that you think they do. So certain monetization programs open up at certain thresholds. And I think it's 2,000. No, it's 1,000 for the link. I think it's 2,000 for a series, 5,000 for something, 10, and then 50. That's when all those different programs start to open up. But yeah,
For sure.
that's a good point. And also brand deals, for some reason, if they see you have more followers, they pay you more. Even though you're like, I don't have followers, but I get views. They'll still
Yeah.
pay you based on follower count.
I don't know if you mentioned this earlier when we were chatting about your story. I know your money has come through your own products and you did affiliate stuff. Have you at all taken any brand deals in your entire journey?
100% I have. I've been a shill if there were, I mean, if there's a product if I believe in. So I'm not just gonna take any brand deal. I turn down way more than I take. It's like and I'm sure you get them too. If you become a creator and you guys start getting some visibility, people start to get into your DMs. Hey, I got this new website. Let's go in. So I've done some cool stuff, and they're a couple $100. Every once in a while, you get one that's a couple $1,000s, and you're like, oh, this better be a good product. And
Nice.
yeah, but it all depends. So yeah, brand deals have dried up though. They're not free flowing like they were in 2021. That's for sure. So you do have to actually sell your own product or at least an affiliate product if you don't want to be customer service.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. I would say definitely for anyone who is a creator, 'cause I know we got people tuning in that are at different stages in their journey. Some of you watching maybe haven't really started creating content or become an actual creator yet, but you've been looking into it. I would say definitely 100%. I think every creator needs to have their own, source of income that they control. Because a lot of people go in with the mindset and they're planning to monetize fully through brand deals or things like that. I would never ever want to be in that situation because you don't have control over your income. It could just dry up. And same, I honestly, I even see affiliate stuff the same way because I started with affiliate marketing back in 2018. I've made good money through affiliate marketing through different ways. Like there was one YouTube video, just to give one example. I had one YouTube video I put out in like early in my journey in 2018, I think. And I was just promoting one of these kind of platforms that you use for live streaming, not the one that you and I are on, Dom, right now, but
Yep.
one that I used to use in the past. And I started actually I think it was this platform. I was using this platform. I switched to StreamYard and then I switched back to Restream. I think it was Restream that I was making all those affiliate commissions off of. What ended up happening was like 2 years later after I put that YouTube video up, it just popped off for some reason. And I think it was at the beginning of the pandemic. I think what happened is a lot of churches, because I noticed a lot of people started following me who are church leaders because they thought I was that's not my target audience at all, but it was through YouTube.
They started following the cult builder.
Yeah. So here's what happened. The video popped up 2 years later, and all of a sudden I started making like $3K per month in affiliate commissions off of this video that was making me no money for 2 years. And now it was just like clockwork for months on end, $3,000 in affiliate commissions per month off of just this one video on top of the other stuff I was making. But that was like fully passive $3,000 per month just coming in off that YouTube video.
Yeah.
And it was happening for like a good straight year. And then all of a sudden, I think the demand just died down because I think it was churches that, like I said, they couldn't do their Sunday services in person anymore. And they were trying to find ways to live stream. They came across my video and then they started signing up through my affiliate link. And all of a sudden, the need for it just died down after like a year or so. And then that $3,000 turned into $1,000. Then eventually, like, a couple hundred every month. And then eventually it's like, okay, now if an affiliate sale comes through that video, I'm very, very lucky. There's other people who created the same type of video and I think have taken off my search ranking that I used to have there. So my point is, for me, I don't care because it was 3K that was coming. It was 3K I didn't expect. It was just extra money on top of what I was actually making through my business. But it wasn't something that I could control because it was coming around like clockwork, and then all of a sudden it disappeared when demand died down. And that's, you got to think of those things. If you're not already a creator, this is why, in my opinion, you need to build your own business. You need to have your own offers. Even if you're an affiliate, it's cool to do it. I did it for a couple of years, eventually branch out into doing your own thing.
But I want to go on that though, right? So you said you were making $3,000 a month. Would you say that you did it? Would that pace have kept up for a year? Would you say?
It was like a year, yeah.
So you made $36,000.
I mean, I'm not going to complain. It was a video I recorded in 10 minutes.
Where I'm going with this, that particular YouTube video, was that edited really well?
No, it was early in my journey. I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Yeah. There's a lot of people I'm sure that might be watching this who are like, I'm not good on video. I don't have a good editor. If you have a valuable video that is in the right niche at the right time, and again, it was dead for 2 years, put the content on YouTube. I mean, there is something that I every once in a while, you have a video that pops, it gets indexed in Google, and it just the algorithm will shift and it'll get picked up, and you're like, all of a sudden, this hidden gem just starts gathering. I had a video like that start getting views after 150 days. But put it out there. If you were in the beginning of the journey and you like I said, it's 10-minute video, and you're like, whatever. If you had gotten to the point where you were like, I don't want to post it, it's not good. You would have missed out on $36,000.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good point.
So
it didn't take me any extra work anyways.
Yeah. Put your crap on YouTube, please. Let it sit. It becomes an asset over time. And then I'm sure as you started to become, because I see this all the time now, YouTube tells you comments. So I'll see someone comment on a new video of mine. And then like the next day I get a comment on a video that I did 3 years ago. So if you start putting out, as you get bigger and bigger into your YouTube journey, as you put more and more content out there, it starts bringing people in because you get better. Your older content will start to come back alive, because people are coming off of the new video and they're seeing your old stuff going, oh, wow, this is pretty, the old stuff is good. And I'll even say for marketers, especially people who've become successful, their older stuff is often better than their newer stuff, because in the beginning, they were oversharing stuff that's probably now behind a paywall. It's a little course hack for everybody.
That's true, man. You know, it actually blows my mind how much stuff you can find on YouTube, because I watch quite a bit of YouTube now, because there's some people who on their channels, they get no views, but the stuff they're sharing is nuts.
Jacob
100%, man. Yeah, he's a good example of that.
Gets no views comparatively, but his views are worth money. And the stuff that
100%.
comes out is gold. So yeah, that's it doesn't always have to be, views.
Yeah.
I see a comment. Are you going to the High Level Summit in October?
No, I don't even know about it, honestly.
All right. So
I don't scroll enough social media, because I have, the way I approach my day is I have my time blocked and everything. I have certain time blocks for social media. That's when I go on, I do my stuff on social media. Other than that, I don't really spend time on social media. So I'm out of the loop with a lot of stuff, unless I specifically go to, certain profiles or groups or whatever to see what's going on. But I like it that way. I don't care. I got stuff going on in October anyways. I'm visiting family, so I don't plan to change those plans. So it's all good.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, high level, I am going. So the High Level Summit is like High Level's version of Funnel Hacking Live, but I've never been, so I don't know what to expect. So it's a big conference that they do. High Level right now is the big funnel builder, going basically head to head with ClickFunnels at this point. Totally different market, totally different strategy, but it's interesting to watch from a marketing perspective. But that's what that summit is.
Yeah, High Level knocked it out of the park over the past couple of years, man. I don't know when they came out, but
5 years.
5 years ago, man, because they're dominating now.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know numbers wise where they compete against ClickFunnels in them, but I mean, I see it. They're dominating.
It's interesting because High Level's business model directly, as they go, I know we're getting kind of off the topic of Polarity, but this is good marketing too. Is High Level puts a lot of their resources and energy into building a great product. So they have an incredible software product, but they have almost zero marketing. So that's why no one's ever really heard of them. But they use marketers to market things, but they let marketers white label their software, and then the marketers do the marketing for themselves, but the marketers pay wholesale to High Level. It's an interesting kind of like way to go about it. But then there's people, I think what really happened was in the past 2-ish years, people are realizing, well, I can collect 100% white labeling High Level, then sending 40% to ClickFunnels. So then then the YouTubers started making the round where it's like, guys, this is a great opportunity. And that's when you saw it start to hockey stick in popularity. But it's interesting. Yeah. Frank Kern's on there. There's a lot of big people jumping out. I see one because CF 2.0 is a dumpster fire. I think I know who that is, but yeah, he's been saying that for a while.
For sure, man. Man, I wish Restream would show us more of the names. It looks like it's putting Facebook user for everybody. I got to put the, I got to remember next time to drop a comment, because I know there's a link you can click on and give permission for it to show your names and all that.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got here.
I saw Ron drop this comment 3 times.
Okay.
After Alex Hormozy did the perfect webinar nuclear bomb, what's the next chapter in marketing? I'll ask that question for you. I feel like I've been just blabbering on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can give my opinion on it, but I'm interested to hear yours, man.
You first.
All right. Well, I mean, this is my opinion in general. I watched. By the way, Yeah, so I caught the tail end of Alex Hermosi's webinar a bit before he dropped the offer, the first offer, which was for the free is what was it? He was giving a course material and all that.
Well, yeah.
And then he dropped it for free, which by the way, that was a masterful drop because the way he was building it up, he was going with the typical perfect webinar approach. And I thought for sure, half of me was like, nah, he's not going to do it because of his brand and to stay congruent with his brand. The other half of me though was thinking for sure he's going to, drop a price for this thing because he has so much goodwill built up. He could have done it. It would have pissed some people off 100% for sure, but it also would have made him a shitload of money and a lot of people would have bought it and would have no problem because of all the goodwill he has built after all this time. So I thought for sure, I thought he was going to say it's like $500 or drop.
I have my credit card out.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be something like that, and I wouldn't be mad at him if he did. He has earned the right to do that by this point with all the goodwill that he has been building for I don't know how long now. And so I remember I was watching that, man, and then when the way he dropped it, it's funny because you can tell in his voice beforehand he was a little bit nervous because he's not used to doing that whole, making it seem like he's about to ask for a pitch. And I watched a vlog.
You watched the vlog afterwards.
Yeah, he posted a vlog afterwards, and he said in real time he was seeing the comments that people were dropping, and he's like, "Damn, I'm like lynching myself right now." So he was looking at it and feeling a little bit nervous, and you hear his voice slow down after he dropped that it's free. So I remember when I heard that, I was like everybody else. Although there was a part of me that thought he was going to do it, I was still shocked because I'm like, this is an easy. I mean, he can make a lot of money. I don't know how many people he had. I think he had like 500,000 people live or something like that, from what I heard.
Yeah, a literal city of people live.
He had not
Toronto city, but like literal city. Yeah,
that's a huge city. That's a big city, man. The city I grew up in wasn't 500,000 people. Yeah. So he had a big city of people tuning in live, and then obviously there's going to be the replay. So he could have made a huge killing. And then he dropped when he did the price drop. That was definitely a power brand move, big time. Yeah. And then obviously, I mean, he still made money because after he dropped the book offer, which it was congruent with his brand, he's not charging too much for it and whatnot.
Yeah.
I will say though, oh nice, you got the $3.
I got the $3.
You know what's funny? When he dropped it, I actually opened up the page for it and my browser froze. It wouldn't load the shipping, so I couldn't buy it. And then after when I reloaded it, it showed me because I live over in Canada. The shipping was going to be a whole lot more than the book. And then I looked at it, I'm like, I was kind of caught up a little bit in the excitement. I'm like, man, having the hardcover, I like hardcover books personally better when I'm reading them. And I like to have the physical books rather than, what do you call it? Digital. So I was like, you know what? I'll just buy it regardless. But then I talked myself down because I was like, what's the point? I'm like, I could just get it off of Amazon or I could buy it later. I'm not going to get caught up in the hype. So I didn't end up buying it after because it just took too load. Had the shipping loaded quicker, I would have bought it because I would have emotionally bought in. And then afterwards, Rational Zeki came in and started talking myself out of it. But with that said, I know a lot of people are like, oh man, everything changed. The whole game changed. I don't know if you're going to have a different opinion of what I'm about to say, Dom. I love what Alex Hormozi is doing, and I think it's awesome what he's doing in general with his whole brand and what he's doing for the whole information market, which I know a lot of people who are in our game kind of hate it because they feel like kind of like what you said when you're attacking the logic of certain programs of what people are doing and they feel like they're going to go broke because of it. A lot of people in the info marketing game think that they're going to go broke, that Alex Hormozi is killing it. He's not. It's not. If it was gonna kill it, do you understand how much stuff is already on YouTube without Alex Hormozi putting this stuff up? I'll give you an example right now, guys. One, a second ago we were saying how there's certain YouTube channels you can follow, watch their stuff, learn a ton from people who have an amazing track record, might not be getting crazy views, but they're dropping everything on there. You want to I'll give this to you guys as something to get value from. If you want to build your sales skills, one YouTube channel, go, after this live, go search Cole Gordon. Cole Gordon has some awesome stuff. He's the founder of closers.io. Huge track record in selling and in the sales space. And the other day I just had YouTube open. I saw him put a new video. He hasn't uploaded to YouTube in ages. He put up this new video and he's like, you know what, guys, I'm doing this series of videos on how to sell. And I don't care if it gets any views. This is the curriculum. This is what we're going to do. I just want to put it out there and go in depth in it. And he's basically essentially putting up a paid, it's pretty much like putting up a paid course, structured. It's not even information that's all over the place and random. It's structured and very well structured, I'll say, that he's just putting on there for free on his YouTube channel. So if you go search Gordon right now, you'll have I think he uploaded the second video of it today, and he's just doing it over the next little while. And you can find, he's just one example. You can find tons of folks on YouTube who have built massive businesses, who are just putting the stuff out there. And sometimes they do know how to do the SEO and all that to get the views. Sometimes they don't, so they're not getting a lot of views. But if the information being out there would have shut down the info marketing space, then it would have happened a long time ago, because the information is already out there. That's the first point. The second point, I can tell you from somebody who is in this game and who has my own info products and who works with clients, information isn't enough. It isn't
100%.
enough. I can happily, easily give away all of the content and everything that I teach inside of Cult Builders Elite. And I know for a fact that, and even if I gave it away structured and I put it in a YouTube playlist and I break it down the same way I do for my clients, step 1, do this, step 2, do this, I did all that. I know for a fact there's some people who will take that, they'll get results with it, but most people will not. And I will not run out of business, because people will still come back to me and send me a message and say, Zeki, I watched your thing, but I don't get how to do this thing, or I tried to do this thing and I need help with the implementation. So information alone isn't enough. For some people, maybe. There's some people who can do it with just the information themselves, but they're very rare. There's always going to be a need for help with implementation. So the whole thing about what Alex Hormozi did is completely, some people say shutting down an opportunity, or some people see it as a positive light, but they're like, he's changing the game. The info marketing space will never be the same. In a way, I'll say yes, he is changing the game, because the fact that what I really love about what he's doing is, as opposed to a lot of the YouTube channels and a lot of the stuff you can find, which is kind of all over the place, and you have to, you can find a lot of even my methodology if you were to take the time to go through all my content since way back in 2018 and try and piece everything together and, read between the lines, observe what I'm doing, be a part of my group long enough and just watch what I do with my own social media and all of that. Same with Dom. If you watch what he's doing, you could probably piece together a lot of it on your own. But personally, I would much rather pay somebody to have prepared the whole thing and help me and support me in implementation of it than have to do all that myself. But I know there's people who are more of the do-it-yourself type of people. With that said, the point that I'm trying to make is, I like what I really like about what Alex is doing is the fact that he put it into books. He has really spent a lot of time in building out his frameworks and simplifying it as much as possible, and essentially giving you a course material that you can take as a newbie who doesn't know what the hell they're doing when it comes to offers, when it comes to getting leads, and whatever else he's going to introduce later, and actually follow that and legitimately build something through it if you are doing the work and if you're going to follow through with it. Even with all of that, while it is in a way you could say changing the game, it's also not really changing the game, because you could have find the books, anything you want to. I'll show you. Right now I'm hiring a team, right? Mm-hmm. I'm a big reader. So sometimes I will purchase courses for something that I want to learn, or sometimes I'll do a really simple thing, which is simply figure out what are the top books on a certain subject that I want to master, and I'll get the books. And sometimes those books are only like $20 as opposed to paying $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for the course. So right now I'm in the middle of hiring my team and building out my team and infrastructure in my business, which I do already have experience with, because I used to be a country manager for a nonprofit organization, but it's been a while since I had to manage teams and all of that. So I wanted to refresh myself. So I'm just, I got a curriculum I created for myself of certain books. Like this is one book that I'm going through right now, E-Myth Mastery. I got some other books like the 1 Minute Manager that I'm going through, and other things that relate to managing a team. And anybody can do that stuff. Books are not a new thing. Egypt had the Library of Alexandria that burned down centuries or whatever years ago.
2600 BC, I think it was.
Yeah, 2600 BC, where we lost a lot of humans' knowledge before then. But still, even after that, a lot of the books out there, at least a lot of human knowledge, is contained inside of books, and you can access them at your library. You can access them at the bookstore, but people don't do it.
No.
So My point is, as much as he's changing the game, it's also not going to really change the game that much. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I'm in some agreement with you. So my whole take on the whole thing was that he didn't kill the information business, but he raised the bar. So if you're someone now who wants to put out a here's a general business course, I'm not going to niche down, I'm not going to offer any kind of support. Like I just want to put together a general here's how business works course. Well, you're done because he's commoditized that. Like one, he has the audience. Everyone like the Cole Gordon. Most people don't know who he is because they can't find his stuff, even though it's out there. Everyone knows who Alex Hormozi is. Well, most people in our space, right? There's people outside of our space that don't know who he is, but everybody who wants to get into business kind of knows who he is at this point.
A lot of people outside that do too, man.
That's
what I noticed.
Yeah, he's definitely crossing over into the mainstream as we are now. So if you're gonna want to be like no support, no community, no nothing, you're not. Why would I pay you money if you're not going to support me when I can go to acquisition.com/leads and get all that for free? You can't. There's no reason to. So I think what he did was he put the pressure off of the information itself, right? Either forced you to either niche down your information to make something really, really specific, or if you're going to be general, like you said, sell the implementation, sell the community. Now, I thought for sure when he was doing the 3 Secret webinar, and I've actually gone through a lot of his presentations, people were saying, oh, this is the first time that he's done the 3 Secret webinar. If you go and watch all of his presentations, they're all 3 Secret webinars. He just stops at the pitch on the other stuff. So this is the first time he actually included the pitch and the unpacking of the offer and going through there. I was like, you know what? I've been watching 8-figure marketer after 8-figure marketer get rid of their high ticket offers. The $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $2,000 offers, those multi 4-figure offers are getting rid of them and they're going to a continuity program. And as I'm sitting here watching it, I'm like, it's going to be free with like Mosey funnels, because I was in the high level community about 2 weeks prior, and the CEO was like, oh yeah, somebody was trying to onboard 10 million contacts and we had to put the kibosh on it because they clogged up the whole system. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, is Alex Hormozi about to drop a high level white label here? Is that what he's trying? It would fit the bill, because he's like, I'm launching this book and all of a sudden I see 10 million contacts and I'm like, it could be, because he says he gets something like 20,000 leads a day. Like that would make sense. So I'm like, it's going to be free as long as you go. I had my credit card ready to pay the $100 a month to get on Mosey funnels to see how he did it. Didn't happen. It was free. And I was like, I was stunned. I was like, all right, well, damn, he's actually like doing it. But I get like you, I would have respected it. I probably would have swiped my credit card if he was going to actually build up the goodwill. And then of course I felt like I might have to get the book and I have to get the hat, and I don't need 3 books, but I'll hand it back. And again, I was like you, I was emotionally bought in. I wanted to pay him something during that particular webinar. So I did. And I got the 3 books. I got my hat. But again, I think what he did was he put a lot of the lazy coaches out of business. People are like, oh, here's my course, go through it, and there's no community and good luck. Those people are not going to be able to. So you really have to be super, super niche or offer a lot of support. Yeah. And that's how I think that he changed the game there with that, and how he's continuing to do it. And if you notice that green book at the end of that webinar, that's money systems. If you go to his website, that's the next course that's blacked out. And I was like, maybe all he's doing is continuing to build that goodwill. And there's actually 2 more. There's money systems and there's a 4th one. I wonder if he's going to make a pitch.
Do these already show up on his website?
Yeah. Yeah, if you go to, I think it's acquisition.com/training, he's got offers, he's got leads, he's got money systems, and there's a 4th one. I can't remember what. I think it was something about like investments or something like that. It's going to be a 4-part series, and I think after the 4th part, there might finally make an offer. But again, though, he's at the point where he talks like the longer the runway, the bigger the plane can take off. He's like, at this point, I can just keep letting it ride because I don't need the money. So like, is it just going to let it run infinitely and build up all the goodwill? Because he is investing in companies that he wants to grow his companies. He has a longer business model than we do. Like we're not in a position to buy $3 million companies. So we have to make the money closer or earlier in the sales cycle, in the person's development process. Either here's the information to get started, or I'm trying to move into here's the utility that you're going to need to keep your business going. I'm 100% getting into the give away the information to get started for free. I'm going to be moving in that particular direction because I'm moving my ask further on down the road. My ask is going to be, I'll show you how to do it for free, but I want you to use my utility to keep your business running.
Gotcha.
So Alex is moving the ask further down the line. It's going, I'm going to show you how to do it for free. Here's all, I don't care. Use whatever tools you want. But later on down the line, when you're ready to scale, that's when his ask is. And I'm going to take you from 3 to 30 million.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's very open about that. I've heard him say it on videos, you know, his business. I mean, that's what his website's even called, acquisition.com. I know one other thing that I like about Alex.
You know why he did acquisition.com? That's a thing. That's an exercise in polarity too. Because the average person, like basically he says, if you can't spell acquisition.com, I don't want to work with you. Or if you don't know what an acquisition is, I don't want to work with you. So I easily could have made it like marketing.com or like something simple. But the acquisition, one, it's hard to spell, and two, people don't know what it is unless they actually know.
For sure. That's hilarious, man. Nice. I know I heard him say, I think it was a video where I heard him say this too, and I respect this about his philosophy a lot. Even when he was writing his books, and it goes back to how he approaches his books. You know, a lot of times the way people in our space approach their books is the books are more a lead magnet than anything. They're trying to get you into their other funnels. And even, I mean, you see this even with a lot of the greats in our industry. Like someone that I really love his stuff is Dan Kennedy. I read tons of Dan Kennedy stuff. You know, my brother-in-law, he was starting a business, and it was he was working on a security business. So it was like not online stuff, but you know, an offline local business. So I recommended one of Dan Kennedy's books to him that's geared towards that. And one of the he had never read anything from Dan Kennedy before. So a comment that he made, which kind of made me laugh, was he's like, man, this guy is relentless in trying to sell me his other books inside of the book. He's like, I feel like I'm just reading a promotion for his other books. He's like, I'm picking up good things, but it's like I'm reading a promotion for his other books. I'm like, yeah, 100%. I mean, once you start reading one of Dan Kennedy's books, he mentions like 5 other books inside of it, and then you got to go buy those books now. And you know, that's part of the game with how he approaches it, which I got no problem with that anyways. But one thing that I like about Alex Hormozi's philosophy, and obviously this is a big part with where he is in his journey, if you ever studied Maslow's hierarchy of needs and all that, but he talks, you know, for him, the end game, of course he wants to make money, and he has a model to make money, but also that's not the ultimate end game for him, because he's also thinking about legacy and what he wants to leave behind. And that's, he shared this reflection when he was writing $100 million offers, that, you know, the reason he spent years on it was because he didn't want it to be this book just for the purpose of building goodwill, just for the purpose of teeing people up for offer, but he wanted it to be that book that, you know, after he dies, it becomes a Bible of marketing. And that's really what he wants his books to be, which I respect that heavily, man. That's awesome. I love seeing people book. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love seeing, that's one of the things I love about his brand and his mission and everything he's doing.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. CFUPayme.com. I was gonna go back to Dan Kennedy there for a second. You're saying he has his one book and then he sells the other 5 books inside of his first book.
Yeah.
I like that, having the embedded upsell, because then all of your all your front end then becomes laser focused.
Yeah.
Because I'm somebody, as most entrepreneurs are, and you want to iterate as fast as you can, offer, you know, pivot, you know, you're still trying to find, the faster you can make offers and pivots and find your thing, you're going to do better faster. But as a content creator, sometimes your content gets convoluted. People go, well, I thought you were I thought you were the Amazon guy. Now you're doing this whole software thing. And now I thought you were an affiliate, and now you're doing your own thing. Sometimes my content can be all over the place. But with Dan, he probably has all his content and forward-facing ads around the first book. So all it is the first book, and the first book sells the rest of the products, which I like.
Yeah, all his books are like that, kind of. Actually, what he does is whenever he touches on a concept, like for example, the book I was talking about, I think, what's it called? No BS direct marketing for non-direct marketing businesses, or something like that, or no BS direct response marketing for non-direct response marketing businesses. So in it, you know, he touches on different things, and he's like for example, he might talk about a concept like, let's say, takeaway selling, which is a concept he talks about in his No BS sales success. So he'll talk about it, and then he'll say, if you want to get deeper into this, Go check that book out. And so he's branching out, and then that book will refer back to this book. So it's really cool because essentially what he's created, he's written so many books. What he's created is this web between all of them, so that when you buy the first book, you end up like me, where I have a whole library full of Dan Kennedy's books. And every time I'm reading it, I'm highlighting the book that he mentioned so I can go order that one on Amazon, and even other books from other people that he references. That's one thing that I do. And I recommend this, by the way, for any of you guys who are book nerds like me. If you want to really learn a bunch of shit that you're not learning from just following people online, because everybody just regurgitates the same shit, right? If you want to pull out of this whole circle jerk of regurgitating in the online space and actually learn marketing at a much deeper level, pick up a couple books, and when they reference other books, which is basically like their bibliography, go grab those other books. That's what I do. My whole reading list, I have a bunch of books I bought. A lot of them I've read, a lot of them I haven't read, a lot of them I haven't bought yet, but I have them on my Goodreads list to buy. Is simply whenever I'm reading any book, when they reference another book, instead of just glossing over it and really not paying attention to it, I add that to my reading list. And I'm like, you know what? If this guy is pulling things from this book, let me see what this book has to say. And then before you know it, you have this crazy web, and you start to build these mental connections at a deeper level between all these different concepts, where it's not like what most people are doing online, where they're just regurgitating what they learned from their mentor or whatever program they're a part of.
Yeah. Yes. Getting exposure from all over the place is an absolute plus. And you kind of touched on that, making these deeper mental connections. And it sounds like, I mean, for me, it came through a period of immersion. So if you're so for me, I was kind of service level when I was between, getting the rental car business and trying to go make money online. I would pick up an hour here. I've got an hour. Let me kind of dabble around. And then it would go out of my head, and I'd go into business and come in and dabble an hour. But after the rental business was nosediving, I knew I was going to fail. I said, I need to get really onto this. And went through a period of immersion where I did not listen to music in the car. It was nothing. I binged the Marketing Secrets podcast, Russell's podcast, from the very beginning, where it was marketing in your car. And it's just verbal diarrhea of him trying to build ClickFunnels. So it was every podcast I could think of in the car. It was watching a course. I didn't watch TV, didn't play games. It was just podcast, do a thing, podcast, do a thing. And because you're consuming so much so fast, and you're trying to implement too, because you can't just consume. That just ends up being mental masturbation. But you consume and you're always trying to implement. So you're noticing things that you're hearing, that you're consuming, and you're seeing the results, and you're seeing the why when you implement. You're like, I know why that is. And you learn so much faster. It took me I went to 6-ish months where I didn't do anything but listen and try to implement. And then I was coming out of that 6 months, I feel like I was 3 years ahead of everybody else who started at the same time.
100%, man. 100%. That point that you just brought up, by the way, is why also I find it really, I'm reminded of this every day, because I was just thinking about this earlier today, is even if you've accomplished things, like in my program, I don't want to ever be teaching anything that I'm not actively doing anymore, because I notice it till today. And I was thinking about this earlier as I was just doing stuff for my own business. And I'm like, man, if I stop doing some of the stuff I'm doing right now, like the day-to-day stuff, and I'm still teaching it in my program, I'm not even going to know what the heck I'm talking about. And I think there's a big disconnect, because there's people who have massive success, but they've since moved on. They're not doing the same stuff that they're teaching their target audience to do.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that you're not even going to actually understand what you're doing. You're not going to realize the holes. There's new holes that come up, things change, unless you're actively doing it. So I know for myself, for a long time in my journey, from way back in 2012, before I got into any of this online stuff, I got started in MLM, network marketing. And I did that for around 2 years or so. And then I had this lull in time where I still wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't want to do the MLM thing anymore. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was reading a lot of marketing books. I was reading a lot of sales, business, mindset. And a lot of it, for most of those time, I did try different things in the meantime. But for most of it, a lot of it, I was reading without doing anything with what I was reading. And I was convincing myself that I'm doing something productive, because I thought, I need to do personal development right now. I need to work on my mindset. I need to learn and whatever. But I wasn't taking any action on the stuff. And now when I go back and read some of those books that I read in those earlier years, they hit different. And I realize I didn't even understand what I was reading back then.
Yes. Yes. I just went through that. So I don't know how experienced everybody is here in their journey. I know when Expert Secrets first came out, I was like brand new. I was like, oh, yeah, this is great. But going in to read something, go back and watch something that you read 2-3 years ago. It's completely different now when you read it because you have so much more frame of reference from doing that. You understand it better.
Yeah.
I'm going
100%.
through that right now on others, going back to old books that I'm like, I haven't read this in a while. And I go read it again. And you're like, this was freaking gold, but you hadn't done the personal growth yet to understand it yet. You didn't understand it was a gold nugget in front of you. You're like, oh, what's this thing? I don't know what it is, but like that's the missing piece. You just didn't know how to recognize it yet.
Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. Cool. All right. So we're like an hour and 20 minutes on the dot into
No,
this
we
live
could be
stream.
here for hours.
Yeah. So originally I told Don this was going to be an hour long, but we just kept going, which I'm not complaining about because I feel like this was very valuable. I would love for all of you who are tuning in, because I see that we still have 25 people live with us, which means basically everybody, unless we replace 25 people, basically everybody who started with us pretty much is still here live with us. I know some of you will catch it on the replay too. So if you are still here with us, drop a hashtag still here in the comments. I don't see all your names right now because as you can see on the side, it just says Facebook user for me, but I will go look at the live stream on Facebook and YouTube and the platforms later so I can actually see who is here. So drop a hashtag still here if you're watching this, whether you're live or on the replay. I would love to know who is all here.
That's awesome.
Let's see if we got any other questions that we missed. We'll have it going for a couple more minutes. I see somebody asked about Instagram, but I don't know, Dom, I don't really know if you played a lot with it.
I hate Instagram, but I know it's necessary and brands love Instagram. People love Instagram. I don't, but I put up with it. So I kind of vaguely intellectually know how it works, but not really big on Instagram.
Yeah, I guess we can make this question a little bit more general for all the platforms, but what their question is doesn't Instagram prefer you create your content natively within their platform? So let's make that a little bit more general as well, because I know you play with different platforms, Facebook, TikTok, and all that. How do you find, since we were talking before about repurposing, do you find that holds back reach and exposure?
So yes, but not for the reason that you think. So the common misconception, I don't want to say misconception because there is a little bit of a truth to it, is that people think that content posted through an API like a repurpose.io or other kind of repurposing software, well, Instagram knows that it came from an API. They know that it wasn't a native user hit the post button. And the thought now is that, because it came from an API, because it didn't come native, we're going to throttle the reach. Not necessarily. What a lot of times happens is that how many times have you been on Facebook or you've been on Instagram and you know that the piece of content there is a TikTok? It kind of feels like, this is kind of an afterthought on the platform. Like this person didn't actually create this for Instagram. They just repurposed the TikTok. So people know that because it doesn't look like an Instagram post. So they don't watch it. They don't watch it. They don't engage with it. And some people, there's Instagram people are cult, and I don't say culty, but Instagram people love Instagram. And they kind of got offended when short form video invaded Instagram. So they might be like, they're
remember that
using TikToks. Yeah. So they'll just swipe past it. So even if it's subconsciously. So what'll happen is it won't do as what it'll do great on TikTok because it was made within the culture of TikTok. It looks like a TikTok. It's awesome. Goes over on Instagram. It might still be a good post, but it doesn't look and feel native. So it doesn't do as well. Now, to native post on every platform is freaking exhausting, and you need the Mosey Media team. But it's I would say, watermarks are always bad because I think platforms now are actively throttling watermark posts. But the content should feel contextual. But I think don't let that stop you from posting on a platform, just repurposing.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, also, if you're repurposing, you weren't going to post it there anyways. So even if it doesn't maximize what could have happened with that content, it's something still
better than zero.
Exactly.
But I'm actually might have to wrap this up soon. I can hear kids getting restless upstairs. I'd love to hang out. I could hang out here for hours with you talking marketing.
For sure, man.
At some point we did plan on an hour. We're now going an hour and a half.
Yeah. You know what? Let's wrap it up.
Hanging out.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let's wrap it up here then, honestly.
Okay.
Because I want to ask you one more question for anyone who's not already in your audience. Where should they
Okay.
go to connect with you?
Just Google me, Don Bavaro. It's donbavaro.com, Don Bavaro on all the platforms. You'll find me. Mostly TikTok. I'm trying to make a push onto YouTube. And yeah, it is all the video platforms. I do have a blog, but I don't really post there much anymore. It's kind of once you unlock video, it's like a superpower.
For sure.
So yeah,
Cool.
that's where I don't. So just Google me and you'll find it.
All right, sounds good. And for those of you tuning in through our Facebook group, I will tag Dom. I'll go and edit the post afterwards and tag Dom on there so you can find him on Facebook too. I think probably his links to his other profiles are there so you can go connect with him.
Yeah.
And if you are still watching with us, I see those comments coming in with the hashtag still here. Let us know that you are here. Drop a hashtag here in the comments. Drop a hashtag cult. Make sure to go smash that heart reaction 1,000 times or hit the like button if you're watching that on YouTube. And we appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in with us. Thanks for hanging out. I see most of you stuck all the way till the end. So thanks for giving us an hour and a half of your time. I hope you got value out of this and you enjoyed it. I'll leave you with one last challenge, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. Drop a comment below and let me know what's one thing that you took away from our discussion that stood out most to you. I'd love to hear that feedback in the comments. With that said, you guys have an awesome night. Don, thanks for tuning in with us, man. It was awesome having you.
Thanks for having me.